So there you go, folks. Hope you're all well. Just thought when I'm out here I'll do a full review of Harley's Rider School in East Kilbride. Although they've actually got a school in Edinburgh, I think, now as well. So back to the beginning. August 2020, I finally got my CBT organised after buying a little MT 125 back in January. COVID sort of struck, so I done that. I had a day lesson out on a Sinus Terrain 125 mini adventure bike with Jim Harley, the boss man of her Harley's Rider School. So fast forward 23 months and I booked myself in again, and I told them I wanted my big bike licence, unrestricted, full motorcycle licence. So I went for a 3-hour 125 lesson with Kath, who I've met multiple times at meetups and shows and stuff. Since she seems to get about. Sounds terrible, doesn't it? Sorry, Kath. I mean on your bike, obviously. Not like that. So that was £80 for a 3-hour 125 lesson on my own bike. I think it was maybe 120 if I'd used one of the training school's bikes. So it went well. The only thing I remember her criticising me for was going a bit too close to a car, or the back of a car at a junction, in case the car rolled back or something like that. So noted. Took that one on board. Keep your distance. My next lesson was a 3-hour DAS lesson on a Yamaha MT-07, and that was with Des. I think it must have been after 5 o'clock at night, because it was £175 for this lesson. Got on okay with Des. I think he shouted at me for anything on that particular lesson. The next lesson was another 3-hour DAS and another MT-07 with Kenny, and it was £150 because it was regular during the day shift sort of time. I got shouted at a few times off of Kenny, telling me to indicate, and then I wasn't indicating exactly when he was telling me to indicate. He was wanting me to indicate like 200 yards before a junction, and I think that's way too early. So I was indicating maybe 100 yards or so before it. It's the whole, because I've been driving for 20 odd years, I've got my own way of doing things. But finally we pulled over and he told me, if you're not going to listen to me, we'll just go back to the test centre. And at that point I actually thought he was joking, but he wasn't. But all was good. The next lesson was with Des again. It was another 3-hour DAS on the MT-07. It was £150. And the only thing he criticised me for was not keeping up with the pack. The pack meaning him and the other one guy that was out. I'm sure it was George. Always seemed to be George. Was out training at the same time. So I think that was it. And I've found that myself while riding and doing motovlogging, especially if you're talking and vlogging and riding at the same time, you sort of slow down a bit and trail a little bit behind the others. But that's not the end of the world. So my next lesson was a Mod 1 pre-lesson and the Mod 1 test, and that was with Des, and it was £165.50. It was £150 for the 3-hour sort of use of the bike, and it was only 1550 for the actual Mod 1 test itself. So I failed that. I done a controlled stop instead of an emergency stop. Silly me. So next time round, I arranged to meet one of the Harley's trainers, instructors, down that here at the test station, test centre. And I just drove down in my car, and the girl Abby that worked there at the time, she brought down an MT-07, which she had to de-restrict for me to then do the Mod 1 on it, because she could only ride the Mod 2, or sorry, she could only ride a 47 horsepower bike, so she had to have a restricted MT-07. So it was only $65.50 when I met them at the station, so it was £50 for the use of the bike for the Mod 1, then $15.50 again for the Mod 1 test. So the next part, since I passed that time thankfully, was my Mod 2 test and pre-lesson, and that was with Kenny. I thought I was actually getting Des that day. I pulled into the car park where you park outside Harley's, and was just getting ready to get out of the car. Then I seen Des with another 2 learners heading out, and I thought, oh no, I'm not getting Des this time. And then I found out it was Kenny. So I had the 2-hour lesson, maybe 2.5 hours or something, out on the bike with Kenny before the Mod 1, before the Mod 2, and it was £225. I think it was 150 for the use of the bike, then maybe 75 for the actual Mod 2 test. So I only done one Mod 2 test because I passed it. But no, I've enjoyed my learning experience. It was pretty good. I quite enjoyed every aspect of it. Riding the 125 for a couple of years was maybe a bit much. I should have maybe moved up a little sooner. But I wouldn't change anything. And I'm still loving riding, regardless of the weather. I've seen some really crappy weather recently, winds and rain, but the heated grips dry out your gloves if they get wet, so it's not the end of the world biking in Scotland in winter. But it's more enjoyable when the sun's out and it's a bit dry. Most of the roads are dry. But no, I'd just like to say thanks to everybody I've named from Harley's. It was a pleasant experience, regardless of being shouted at a few times. But if you can deal with somebody shouting at you in your ear, and you can't shout back at them because it's only a one way, they can shout at you, but you can't shout at them because you don't have a mic, you only have an earpiece. But it's worth the effort. Get out there, get on a bike, go to Harley's if you're in this area. They'll put you through it all. Don't even book your theory test yourself. Harley's will get you dates sooner, which I found out after spending about 3 or 4 months sitting and failing theory tests. I was third time lucky for that, thankfully. So that was 3 theory tests, 2 Mod 1s and 1 Mod 2. So I'll leave you with that, folks. Peace out. Take it easy. Cheers.